would sell, she's not an adult, but she would sew these little dolls. They were just like, just have fabric that they would use their old costumes, and she'd make these cute little dolls. And I bought one, and my mom said, well, buy one as long as you sign it. And she was like, okay. So I got one, and she signed it. It's like this little doll, but they're just like this cute little, artistic, like, just do whatever. And that's why she's so fucking cool now.
Yeah,
too.
I still have it.
Inspiring. Yes, I do. Oh, I used to go crazy for famous people. I have all these stupid fucking autographs that I waited way too long for. My mom still saves them.
Wow.
I have Jonathan Taylor Thomas's autograph.
Really? Whoa! How did you get that?
I wrote him a letter because
Aww.
I was a huge Tom and Huck. And
you would be
Wild
a huge
America.
Tom and Huck
I was.
fan.
Wild America was a great movie.
Yes, it was.
Wild America.
Perfect.
I had a bunch of brothers, and I was just like, and this kid's gonna mean something one day. That's all I kept telling myself. I was like, this guy's going plaplaces. So I wrote him a letter, and sure as shit, he sent me an autograph with like one of those letters where it's like, hey, watch out for my next movie. Anyways, thanks for writing. I have that. That's like the first one in my thing, and then it's a bunch that my dad left me. So then it's Don Knotts, Herman Munster.
Oh, that guy went to like Yale.
I have Ron Howard's autograph as Opie.
Whoa!
The original Porky.
That's pretty cool.
And the original Goober from Andy Griffith as well. And I don't
Your
know.
dad loved the Andy Griffith show then.
I do too. now.
Whoa,
It's on
yeah.
Netflix. I don't know if you guys have ever.
Oh.
It is one of the earliest shows I can see that has examples of running gags that run like a whole season. And so it's really tightly
cool.
written, and there's a lot more to it than like one would think. And it's each season is its own interwoven like Arrested Development kind of thing where it just everything's referencing everything else from like episode 6 to 1, and it's really good.
We act like that's new and we thought of that.
No, it's like we're all proud of ourselves, but that show is full of it constantly.
Well, you're talking about like the enthusiasm of people like that are up and coming at like TNM now, and you're like, they're shows that were already like pre-existing. And I remember having a conversation with somebody earlier this week even about that, like it's weird, I guess, now to pitch like a show, and it's like, oh, this is like a new show I'm pitching, but there was a thing like that in the past.
Oh yeah.
That once existed.
Yeah.
I have my favorite example I always give when people bring that up, and I might have told every single one of you this, but I was in improv, and Curtis Gwynn, he was this improv teacher that was notoriously really tough and just like, I don't know, he was just like, I don't know why, he was just really tough, but he was a nice guy. But anyways, he used this great example that has stuck with me, and he has said that like everything's been done before, and an example of is like, they recently discovered, like many years ago, they discovered these old like Greek writings, and it basically was like a sketch show, and their sketch was about this dead slave. And so these were sketches that were hidden away. No one's seen these before. So the whole thing is this dead slave, and it's like, and the guy's saying like, oh no, it's the slave's great, the slave's alive, and the guy's like, I don't think that slave's alive, I think that slave's dead, and he goes, no, the slave is great, it's just like the fucking Monty Python, and he goes, human beings, everything's been fucking done before, what matters is how you perceive it and what you do with it, but everything's been done before, so never hold back being like, how's this, maybe someone said, no, find what your take on it and fucking do it. But that's something that's, and I remember all my sketch classes when I taught sketches to but I would always say that, like, the first fucking class I'd be like, here's the thing. And I always thought it was very, like,
lean on a chair.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
I wanted to ask you one thing and then say another. I guess I'll go with the say first.
Hold on. I just want to get ready.
Okay. Ready? All right.
Yeah.
Wicked. So like I was talking to Red like a few months back, and he had told me that before.
Yeah.
About like just say it, like whatever you say is not going to be the same thing as the way somebody else is saying it. Like share that idea, and bringing it back to like the neighborhood stuff. Like I always feel really uncomfortable just like cutting people off, and it's like, well, somebody already said that. I'm not going to waste our time repeating it. And then Red was like, stop. Like,
Yeah.
sure, somebody may have said the idea, but you're going to say it your own way, so just fucking say it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No one's going to give a shit. Just say it.
Yeah,
Like,
and if someone does give a shit, fuck them.
yeah, and then I was like, fine, Red, I guess you're right. And
Yeah.
then the other thing about, like, the actual, like, that somebody told you that in a level, which level was that?
Probably, I think level 3 or 4.
Okay, I was just
Three,
curious.
yeah, I think it might have been 3, and I think that was a class that I remember I was making up a class too. So like if you missed a class, I wanted to make up like my 3rd week. So I think I went to Curtis Gwynn's class, and I always regretted never having him as like a full teacher. He like subbed a couple of times.
Where'd you take improv?
UCB.
Oh.
Yeah. And he was teaching there. I don't think he does anymore. He moved to LA, but yeah, he was a notoriously tough
Maybe he
teacher.
still does in LA.
Yeah, he probably still does. Well, he's like a writer and stuff. Yeah, he's now like he wrote for like The Walking Dead and stuff, and I forget who he worked for now. Yeah, he was in that show. He like on it was I think only for like a season or 2 called Fat Guy Stuck in the Internet on Adult Swim, and he played I think it was Chains. I also had a crush on him. Sorry, Rob. So I like watched all of his stuff, and yeah. But he was also a really good, just like teacher and stuff too. Like a lot of people wanted to take him, but yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, they say that music is that way too, you know, that like, you know, there's only so many notes, there's only so many chords. Like, it's your job to put them in the order and put them in the way that you do it. And you can use the exact, I mean, even cover tunes, you hear them one way, when they're done a different way by a different person, it
Houston
feels something totally different.
It's true, yeah.
Fuck you, Dolly Parton.
I guess
Yeah, it's weird how
Like,
crazy
fuck off
different
with
those songs are.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
it's like another element of that too is, I mean, what you're gonna be born and what like not do anything because somebody else did it before you, and then what just die? Like no, of course you're gonna do things, right?
Yeah.
Like
it's
it's
you know what,
like
people had sex before,
prettier.
you're gonna not do that
Yeah.
because other people did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, good luck to you.
Yeah.
Have a good time with that.
You and your kids.
So, Rob, we delved deeply into Ariel's past. Tell us where you're from.
I grew up in Mansfield, Connecticut, which is right next to Storrs, which a lot of people know because of the Yukon Huskies. Yukon Huskies. And they, so they've won all kinds of NBA championships. The women went undefeated for multiple seasons. They're unbelievable. And so I grew up in Mansfield, which is right next to Storrs, and my high school was like right connected to their campus. And so like the whole town was kind of, it wasn't, because we were one town over, so it wasn't really centered around that. And even growing up, the campus wasn't as big of a deal. But once they started winning all these like NCAA titles, a bunch of money came into the school, and now it's like this huge, almost like its own downtown area in Storrs. Even since I moved, like it was depressing me to go back home or to be in that area. And it was like a total clear, like you can't go back home moment where I was like, oh, like this, I can't be nostalgic about this because this is all different. And just kind of walking around and looking at people and going, you don't even know. This is the gravestone of the Sun Cafe or whatever it was. And because like the structures were changed. It went from like a couple one-story little areas, and then there's the kind of the campus area, to now it's like 4 or 5 story things all along all the main roads. And but yeah, I love, I started thinking more and more about, Amy Poehler has a part of her book where she talks about time travel, and if you pay attention in moments, you can always go back there. And so I've been like enjoying, just for like even 3 seconds at a time, kind of like going back to my bedroom as a kid with it's like really hot in the summer and the windows open and I can hear like the locusts outside. I've got basketball camp tomorrow, and I don't know, maybe I showered, maybe I didn't, and I'm just kind of like this little rat kid in a bed, but like that sound and the humidity and kind of like also like the little coolness every now and again. Like it's all I love it so much. But I guess the important part is to kind of like realize there's always something that's always happening. You're always living a thing you're going to want to remember back. So to kind of use that to help me be present, that's what I do, but it doesn't really work. It's hard to be present. It seems like the thing, though.
It seems like everybody's into
That
it.
seems like the thing to do, That's, don't resist and be present.
YOLOing and such.
Yeah.
Did you say YOLOing?
Yeah, it's being present. It's being in the middle.
Yeah, but most people are dumb when if you say YOLO, it's like you're not YOLO.
Oh, yeah.
You know
It's
what I
like saying, yeah, I'm cool.
Yeah. Or like people like me.
Yeah.
Oh God, I say that so much.
I mean,
usually
one
in the mirror.
Just like,
I was just thinking about like in terms
People
of like
like
one
me.
sing. You only live one sing. You know, YOLOing.
Yeah.
YOLO.
We're all one thing.
I mean, I
Let's
feel
set it
like what you're talking about, though, capturing the memory in the moment is definitely something that you can do, and really, I find I don't remember large swaths of things. I just have little moments. You know what I mean? Little things that occurred to me or happened. Like recently on Facebook, some of my friends from the Bowery Poetry Club days started a little Facebook group, a private group with just the people that hung out at that time, and they're like, let's talk about this. And so people were posting memories and all this stuff.
That
and
group
I'm
is going to explode
listening
so
to
nicely one day. Probably election season. Go on.
whatever. So anyway, everyone's talking about these memories and all these things, and I'm like, I don't remember half of these things. And I'm thinking about the things I do remember, and some of the memories that I hold from this time that was so super important to me are kind of horrifying. Like, I remember this one moment when I was alone. It was like I was part of the inner circle that when they pulled the thing down to close it, I got to stay inside. They'd kick everybody else out, and a few of us got to stay inside, and I got to stay inside. And there were 3 guys that were friends of mine, and they were all doing cocaine, and I remember thinking, like, I'm gonna try cocaine. I'm gonna ask them, and I mean, we're all just here, right? Like, no one's around, and I'm just gonna do it. Just one time, right? And I stared at them for a while, and I stared at them for a while, and I stared at them for a while, and I did not do it. And then I left. And was like, I'll see you guys later, and like ran out and got into a cab. And I was always freaked out about that and the idea of that. And like even the friends of mine who then after I decided not to do it, I was all like, oh my God, but my friends are doing that. Oh my God. Like, and so it's so funny. Of all the wonderful, beautiful, fabulous moments, there's only a
That's
few.
vivid for
That's
some
a
reason.
vivid one.
Yeah.
But it's like I remember just like at the end of the bar.
But
Like,
it's special. It's special just to remember it so well, even if it's bad. Just to remember it so well. It's why when you tell that story, you don't sound upset telling it. You know, because like you remember, even if you're remembering it as something that's like not perfect, you're. There's something fond about having a vivid thing that you can kind of transport to.
Yeah.
I think that doesn't sound like it was a terrible experience. Or whatever. I don't think that would apply to all situations. Anybody that's a victim of anything.
I was like, no. I mean, that's more like me judging the event after the fact.
Yeah.
In the moment of trying to be like, maybe you're going to do it. Maybe you're going to try it. I wasn't like judging myself in that moment. I was just thinking like, you could do it. What? Yeah. You're in a totally safe environment right now.
Yeah. No one's going to call the cops.
No one's going to hurt you. If you can't leave, that's fine. Like, no one, if you want to sleep here until tomorrow afternoon, you know where the couch is. Like, the office is right. Everyone's your friend. Like, no, I wasn't unsafe. You know what I mean? So it was like, in the scheme of things, had I done it, it would have been like, well, it's the safest possible place.
It would have been the
done
best
it.
place for you to do it.
Yeah.
Like again, it's like I'm constantly making a narrative in my head, so it's like I would just be like, you're gonna have one of those like worst day ever sort of finishes to it, where it's like you made that decision and then it's just like, I don't know, Ernest does cocaine, and then I'm just running around the next day, just just looking terrible,
Just cocaine.
like just bloodshot eyes. Like I missed the bus and it's raining and it just everything goes badly. It's like it's the beginning of like this requiem for a dream sort of downfall that I'm supposed to have from doing cocaine that one time. You know, it's
I think that's why I didn't do it.
Yeah. Like I think about like I'm not